Greetings and thank you for dropping by for the latest edition of Mentor Mike's Market Movie. Today is Friday, October 26th, 2012. As you can see, we're all set up and ready to do our market movie a little bit later. But first, let's take a look at the trades that we made this past week. I'm going to start with our turning point chart here. As you can see, this is a 13-minute chart, by the way, and for those of you who didn't get the orientation last week, the red lines mark the end of the day session, that is around the end of the New York Stock Exchange, and then the gold line is at 4 a.m. Pacific, which is about the earliest that I would start watching the market. The green is 6:30 when the New York Stock Exchange opens. So basically the space between the green and the red is the day session, and that's where our delta turning points have been located. The space between the two reds is the entire 24-hour day. And of course, there are turning points on every time frame. And so on this 13-minute chart, you can see that our trend-defining moving average has a definite downward bias, and that's what we were looking at all week long. And very typical of how markets move, there would be a sell-off and then a corrective bounce slash consolidation that takes us back closer to the vicinity of the trend definer. Then we have another sell-off, some more correction, more sell-off, more correction. And that's basically how the market has worked its way down. Now, we may have some further lows to make next week. Time will tell. But it's interesting to kind of get the bigger picture each day. I like to come to this chart first and see kind of how things are going. And that gives me occasionally some insight on what to expect during the course of a particular day. So let's look a little more closely now. Here's the Monday chart, and again, here's our down sloping trend definer. And we had a with the trend chart, with the trend trade in the pre-market. There was some divergence between the price and the stochastic. But there was a second with the trend trade right here, but the divergence convinced me to take this long trade, and I just barely made the first target before getting stopped out. Then we had two more with the trend trades, and then we had another counter trend trade that I actually entered on the flip of the parabolic here. And later on, after the fact, I could justify it by kind of a 1, 2, 3 bottom. I didn't mark it, but here's our 1, here's a 2, and here's a 3. I had to sweat out quite a bit here. This thing went up, touched my target, didn't hit it. I had to sweat through this, and then finally it took off, and we hit all 3 targets. So that's how that day turned out, and we had a low, high, low, a little bit skewed to the earlier part of the day. Here is Tuesday, a slightly different chart template, and once again you can see we have the down-sloping trend-defining moving average. So we had several with the trend trades here. I caught this one, and we had a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and then I took the counter-trend potential transition going long because of the 1, 2, 3. And then thought we might be selling off one more time. Got in, luckily got in early enough to hit the first target. Some of my students took this trade, but unfortunately waited a little too long, missed the target, and got stopped out with a small loss. Then turned around and went long and caught this one, and then finally went south again because I pretty much saw this whole squiggling as a large correction and figured we probably were going to go further down before the day was out. But it looked like we had 4 turning points this day, low, and then a quick high-low squiggle and ending on a high here. Alrighty then. Here notice that this day we have kind of flattened out the trend definer, and so this was the day when the Fed had its second day of a two-day meeting, and that's what this is doing here. And now that the Fed is back to tinkering with interest rates again and doing other such things, we're back to getting the spikes after the announcement. There for a long time, they had said that they weren't really going to do anything much, and so we weren't seeing that, but we're back to that again. So I purposely ended my trade at about 11 o'clock. The announcement comes at about 11:15 Pacific time. And as you can see, the market went down, it went up, it went down, and went up, all in the space of just a few minutes. And there ended up being a very good short trade here at the end, but I was done. I had made enough earlier in the day, and we had a very good high-low-high configuration on the turning points. The spacing is pretty much equal to what the prediction says, but in each case, the actual point was skewed a little bit to the early side. Notice that I used a parabolic configuration on the charts instead of the conventional red moving average. But basically, look at our MACD. Down, up, and down. I mean, it was very, very simple, high, low, high, and then down again. All you had to really do was follow the contours of the MACD, and you would have been just fine. Now, we're still basically flat on the trend definer. Again, we come above it in the pre-market. We top out right at the open, as you can see. And I'm sort of doing a different configuration on the charts here. This is a combo chart with the 3-minute and the 13-minute. And basically, the only thing on here that's really 3 minutes is the chart, is the price bars. Those are 3-minute price bars. And the stochastic is essentially a 3-minute stochastic. But the MACD and the moving averages and everything else are set to a 13-minute chart. So again, we had a basic one drop here. I didn't really see anything good in the pre-market. Had a wonderful down move here. Hit all three targets. Could have gotten in again, but never really saw anything materialize for the rest of the day. So there was really just that one trade. Now, here is today, and as you can see, the trend definer has finally broken south a little bit, but we've got a really squirrely day. It came down, went back up, and notice how we had these wild swings across the trend definer. So this is the day that we're going to replay today. But again, it's going to be a very simple and straightforward thing. The pale gray parabolic is the 13-minute parabolic, and as you can see, each one of our major turning points has its own little parabolic momentum module, both on the longer term and on the shorter term. We also have very clear swings on our MACD, and today I decided to make the stochastic a 13-minute stochastic as well. And as you can see, we had some very simple and distinct swings on the stochastic. So it's going to be an easy day to trade, but it can sometimes be confusing because of the fact that pretty much all the trades are outside-in type trades, and a lot of us are sort of have a bias and a predisposition for the inside-out trades, more like this one here. Of course, this one occurred in the middle of the night, actually late afternoon to the early evening, but this is what we're going to be dealing with in our replay. And here's another look at the turning point trades. So as you can see, this is where we had a pretty flat day that day, and we were starting to get flat here. And here's the close-up of what we're going to be looking at today here on the 13-minute chart. Wild swings around the trend definer. My best guess is that this market is going to move a little bit lower before it goes higher. But at some point, this thing will break to the upside. And if I really want to see the highs and lows on the kind of the equivalent of a daily chart, but not quite. I'll look at maybe a 60-minute chart, and that will tell me where things look like they're going to turn around. And we're not there yet. It looks like it's going to go a little bit lower. So we're all geared up to replay our day for today, Friday. Notice that our longer-term 13-minute stochastic is already down here in the oversold zone. So basically, I'm going to be looking for it to break to the upside at some point here, and maybe flip this parabolic and maybe come out of the oversold zone here, this dotted line, which is, interestingly enough, the same color and line type as the parabolic. That's because this is probably going to flip at about the moment when we break out of the oversold zone. So that's what we're going to be looking for. And let's get started. To bring my control panel back. Start out with 10 clicks, which gives us 50 times normal speed. Okay. Our stochastic, our faster stochastic, is starting to give us a curl there. And parabolic has flipped. We have a crossover on the faster faster MACD rather. The longer MACD has already been bullish for a bit. We've got the bullish crossover on our long-term stochastic, and we're breaking out of the oversold zone at the same point that we flipped the parabolic here. So it looks like we have a triple panel alignment of bullishness. Perfect place to get long. And let's draw our arrow. And away we go. Yeah, actually we can probably get a little faster. We'll boost it up to 100 times normal speed. Alright, hit the first target, move the stop, hit the second target. I've got a secondary stop move for when we hit the second target. Okay, are we going to hit that third? I hope so. Alright, and off we go. I'm going to slow it back down to 50 and see if we get another opportunity. Okay, the price is dipping below the blue moving average. And let's see if it starts to rise back up a little bit. We're right at the open of the day session right now, when volume and volatility tend to pick up a bit. And notice that our stochastic is in the overbought zone, but the %K line has broken above %D. And as we, I think, have talked before, Oftentimes there can be a substantial move after the stochastic is in the overbought or the oversold zone. Jake Bernstein called that the stochastic pop. So we might see a bit of a stochastic pop here. Let's take a chance on that. I think there's a pretty good chance that this pullback is some type of corrective Elliott wave, which means there's at least something left here, and even if it's a truncated wave 5, it's got to be closer to the high here than where it is right now. So I'd say there's a pretty good likelihood that we are going to at least hit the first target. So I'm going to get long again. There's the first. Okay, stop moves. It's kind of flirting with our stop, but it hit the second target first. That's what we like to see. Don't know if we're going to make it to the third. Will we? Oh, it got mighty close. Okay, stopped out. All right, stochastic is getting lower, and we have flipped this parabolic. We're about ready to drop out of the overbought zone here. We've got quite a distance to go before this comes down to the white moving average, and we're still a little bit short here. So let's run it a little bit further along, but we'll keep the speed just a little bit lower. See, when the blue is this far away from the white and the MACD is this far away from across, even though the parabolic's flip, there's a good chance that the price is going to do something squirrely here before it goes lower. And as you can see, we're getting some more zigzags here. Now, we may have been all right if we gotten short right here, but we would have had to sweat through all of this. And when you're looking at that in real time, that's a long time to be sweating. Okay, we've broken south of the white, and we've got the crossovers here. We're coming out of the overbought zone, and we've got the cross here. So let's go ahead and now get short. Okay, there's the cross on the MAs. Prices got hung up there on the trend definer. Okay, now we flip the big parabolic as well as the shorter one. Okay, we're stopped out. Notice that the MACD and the stochastic are still looking pretty bearish. The price is kind of retesting that trend-defining moving average. Let's see if it comes back down. If it drops below the, I'm going to slow this down a little ways because if it shoots below, I don't want to miss that move. But once the price closes below the blue moving average, I think we're going to have a shot at least a first target. It's flirting with it. Okay, we've got the price breaking below the blue. Looks like we got a little bit of a curvature here, so we might want to just make sure that this is further below. Yeah, no question about it. See it? And the MACD is very strong. The stochastic is sensitive, but this is not enough. The MACD has me convinced that this thing is going to go at least low enough to hit that first target. Because remember, we've got a downward slope. This market still wants to go lower. So let's go short. We'll start another arrow. And away we go.
You can't go through Glendale without some fucking retard fucking homeless jobs and shit.
Okay. Now, we've got crossover here, flipped parabolic. Let's go a little bit further. Okay, still don't have a cross in the MACD, but this thing is rising pretty solidly, and we are looking like we want to take off. So I am going to take a chance on getting along here, even if I'm going to have to sit and sweat for a little bit. What's what they call sweating. There we go. Okay. All 3 targets hit, and that was going to be the last trade of the day. Let's run out the clock. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, $2,687.50 with 9 contracts. Pretty decent day, and basically just up, down, and up again. Could have probably maybe gotten in one more time, but I wouldn't have started that late. So you can see this high is right on the money. In terms of our projected time, which is in the same spot every time. This one just slightly fast, not by much. And this one just a little bit late, but not by much. Okay, so there was our day. Thanks for coming by. Take care, and we'll see you next time.